My first impressions of Raqqa when I first arrived was just a scene of utter devastation. This was a city that had functioning electricity, running water. It was very beautiful to look at, and the whole facade of the city has just been blown apart. There's rubble across the entire street and it's littered with explosive devices now. You hear artillery going off. But the things is that for me at the end of the day I get to go home back to the UK. The national staff who work in MSF hospitals day in, day out, they're the ones that live in this country and they're the ones that day in, day out come to work and save people's lives. They've lived through everything. They've lived through bombings, sniper attacks, everything you can really imagine, with minimal resources. Like within our emergency department, when we had mass casualties, like back in London, you'd have specialist trauma doctors, specialist trauma surgeons that are dealing with all of this. We had like 2 GPs, general practitioners, we had a dermatologist and a paediatrician who are dealing with these, and this isn't their speciality, but they've stepped up to the plate to save people's lives because there's just not enough doctors. When we first went into Raqqa, the majority of our work was all trauma stabilisation, and the majority of people as they came back to their homes were finding that it was rigged with explosives and a lot of people were getting injured from that. So we set up a trauma stabilisation post and we started to treat all these people, keeping as many people as alive as possible, and then getting them up the road to Talabia where we could do definitive surgical intervention to keep these people alive and rehabilitate them. People that come in from blast injuries, it's not generally just one person, it can be a family sometimes. It can be a group of people who are just trying to clear out, like say for instance a school so that kids can go back to school for instance. And you'll have maybe 4 or 5 people coming and half the roads are strewn with rubble with possible pieces of explosive devices there. So you'll literally see people coming in the back of pickup trucks, in the boots of people carriers, or even wheelbarrows. I had one dad carry his child who was just newly born about half an hour running straight to the MSF facility in the middle of the night because the child was blue, and brought it to the MSF facility so we could try and do everything we could to keep it alive. And this child was born premature. When it was born, it wasn't really breathing greatly, and by the time it got to us, it was very blue. Like usually there's maybe a bit of blue in the face, like literally it was blue all over, wasn't breathing very well. But we managed, with what resources we had, we managed to give it oxygen. We had to bag it for a little bit, breathe for the kid for a little while, and eventually started breathing for itself. Ideally in these situations, we'd also have an incubator, something that every single kind of neonatal unit in the country has, but we don't obviously have those kind of things. We have saline bags that are sitting in these metal bowls on top of basically diesel cookers that we basically keep warm so that if anyone gets injured from any blasts, if we don't have any blood left, we have these bags of warm fluid so that then they're not getting hypothermic. So literally we just made a bed of these warm bags of fluid and made sure it wasn't too hot and put the kid on top of it to keep it warm as a kind of mini incubator. Managed to stabilise the kid, it was breathing by itself and it was a nice pink colour, and we managed to eventually get it transferred out of Raqqa and into another MSF facility up in Kobani, where we actually have a neonatal intensive care unit where we can actually properly care for it. I think I spoke to them when I was still in Raqqa and they said yeah, it kept us up for a couple of nights but it was still doing well last time I heard.